Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Himanshu Goel, and I'm working as a professor at Jaggan Institute of Management Studies, and I'll be taking care of this QT subject today. So we'll be discussing this decision making under uncertainty and under risk, right? So the elements, we'll be first discussing the elements of decision problems. The first element is objective. So objective states that what you are trying to find out, right? So what thing you are trying to find out, you need to identify that. The next element is decisions. So the next element is decisions. What decision you are trying to make, right, out of that particular objective or particular objectives which you have defined in your first element, right? The next one is the uncertain events. Uncertain events include, for example, we had COVID-19, we had the 2008 subprime crisis. The uncertain events are those events which cannot be predicted, right? So they are called the uncertain events. The next one is the consequences. So what will be the consequences of that particular event on the entire economy or entire country? That needs to be evaluated, right? So therefore, the six steps in decision making will be clearly define the problem at hand, right? First, you need to clearly define the problem which has to be taken care of, right? The next step involves the list down the possible alternatives, which the alternatives which you need to trying to find out, right? So you need to define all the possible alternatives that are there in your syllabus. Yes, so we were discussing about the second step, which is based on the list of the possible alternatives. So you need to identify the various solutions to the problem, right? So you need to list them down, and then you need to find out in the third step that which alternative is giving you the best outcome, right? And what state of nature it will provide you, right? So you need to evaluate that state of nature. So the fourth step involves the list, the payoff or profit of each combination of alternatives and outcomes. So in the fourth step, you need to find it out, right, whether which alternative will give you the profits and which alternative will give you the payoff, right? So you need to evaluate that in advance. The next step is fifth step, select one of the mathematical decision theory models. So this step involves that whether you need to find it out whether which model is the best one, right? You need to select one of the models or you need to apply all the models to that and find it out which solution is giving you the best results in terms of profits or in terms of payoffs. Then you need to apply that particular model to that particular problem and you have to take your decision in the last step, right? So this is a six-step process which is involved, which is very useful in making a decision making, right? So then I'll be discussing about the Thomson Lumber Company, right? It's a kind of a case study where in the first step we defined the problem. The problem was to expand the manufacturing and a marketing a new product backyard storage sheds, right? So you need to, I mean, what they were trying to do is they were trying to expand their manufacturing unit and trying to manufacture a new product or market new product which was there in their backyard, right? So then they list down the alternatives, which were the first one was a construct a large new plant, a small plant, and not plant at all. So these three alternatives they list down that these three alternatives would be the best one, right? The next step, which was to identify possible outcomes to that. So the possible outcomes would be the market could be favorable or unfavorable. In that case, if you are launching a new product, the market could favor you, or probably it could be favorable to you, right? So then fourth step was list the payoff. Identify conditional values for the profits for large, small, and no plants for the two possible market conditions. So there will be two profit market conditions, and you need to find out the payoff that in which market you will be getting the best results, right? If the market is favorable to you, and if the market is not at all favorable to you, right? Select the decision model. You have to now select the decision model which depends on the environment and amount of risk and uncertainty. Apply the model to the data. Then you have to apply that particular model to the data and you need to find out the solution and analysis in order to make the decision making, right? So this is a six-step process which we have discussed in the previous slide. So using a Thomson Lumber company, we have now discussed the case study kind of, where you can probably apply this six-step process to make the decision making you're more fruitful. So I'll be discussing what we have discussed till now, right? It's a case of Thomson Lumber Company, right? So we have listed on the alternatives. The first alternative was to construct a large plant. The next alternative was to construct a small plant, and the second and the last alternative was to do nothing, right? So when the market was favorable to you, when constructing a large plant, you'll be getting 2 lakh dollars, and if market is unfavorable, you'll have a loss of 1,80,000, right? And if you construct a small plant, if market is favorable to you, the profit will be, the revenue will be 1 lakh rupees, and if market is unfavorable to you, it will be a loss of 20,000 rupees. And if you do nothing, you'll have a zero in both the situations, right? So I'll be solving using some mathematical means. Or the first method, there are actually five methods, right? I would say, for a decision making process, which I'll be discussing in the slides to come. Before that, I need to find out there what are the types of decision making environments. The first type is decision making under certainty. When decision maker knows with certainty the consequences of every alternative or decision choice. The next type is decision making under uncertainty. The decision maker does not know the probabilities of various outcomes, and in that case, I'm unknown to that. I don't know whether that particular solution to that problem will fetch me the good results or not, right? The third type is decision making under risk. The decision maker knows the probabilities of the various outcomes. The third type of decision making environment is when you know that what kind of probabilities will be coming to the various outcomes that are available to the market, or that are available to you, right? So we'll be decision making under uncertainty. I'll be taking that second type of decision making under uncertainty, right? So there are several criteria. There are five methods which I will be discussing in the slides to come, right? The first one is Maximax, which is optimistic approach. We'll be discussing how it has to be done, right? The next method is Maximin. It's a pessimistic approach, right? The third one is the criterion of realism. It's called Hurwitz criterion. The fourth one is equally likely. It is called Laplace transformation. And the fifth one is the minimax regret method, right? So I'll be discussing first two methods in this slide. Then I'll be discussing the other two methods in the other three methods in the slides to come, in the videos to come, I would say, right? So the first method is which is a very modern one, and which is probably the easiest one. It's called a Maximax. So in this criterion, what has to be done, right? The decision maker ensures that he should not miss the opportunity to achieve the largest possible profit, Maximax, or lowest possible cost, minimum, right? Thus, he selects the decision choice or course of action that represents the maximum of the maxima or minimum of the minima, based of consequences or outcomes. The working method is summarized as follows. There are certain steps that are involved in this calculating the maximax function, right? Maximax criterion. First one is locate the maximum or minimum payoff for each alternative, right? The next step is select the alternative with a maximum or a minimum for cost. Maximum is always for the profit, and minimum is always for the cost or loss, right? So in our case, we have a maximum problem, right? So we have the profits, and that's why we are using Maximax here. So what has to be done? This is a problem where you have list down the three alternatives. So the first alternative was construct a large plant. The second alternative was construct a small plant. The third alternative was do nothing, right? So state of nature says that favorable market, unfavorable market. So you have the payoffs, you have the profit for that. So what has to be done? You have to find out the maximum of the first row, second row, and the third row, right? So in the first row, the maximum will be 2 lakh rupees. So I'll be getting 2 lakh rupees maximum in a row, right? And construct a small plant, and the maximum is 1 lakh. And do nothing, you have a maximum of 0. So out of these three alternatives, you have to first find out the maximum of the all the three alternatives, and out of three you have to find out the maximum, right? So in our case, which is construct a large plant, that means if you construct a large plant, you'll have a favorable market, you'll be earning a 2 lakh rupee revenue, right? So this is a decision that you are making here. You need to construct a large plant and you can earn a maximum profit of 2 lakh rupees. In case of minimum, what we have done is minimin. We we need to find out the minimum of the first row, second row, and the third row. Then out of these three alternatives, you have to find out the which incurs me the least cost. That means in that case, probably if I am taking this as a cost matrix, so my answer would have been 0, right? So this is the first method, which is called maximax or minimin, right? This is a very simpler one. The next one is maximin, right? So maximin is, in this criterion, the decision maker ensures that he would earn no less than some specified amount. Thus, he selects the alternative that represents the maximum of the minima or minimum of the maxima in case of loss, payoff in case of profits. The working method is summarized as follows: locate the minimum, payoff for each alternative, and select the alternative with the maximum number. That means that first you need to find out the minimum of every row, and then you have to find out the maximum number out of that. So in our case, if we try to find out the minimum in all the three alternatives, so in the first alternative I'll be getting a loss of 1,80,000, next in the loss of there will be a loss of 20,000 rupees, and if you do nothing, you'll have a loss of 0. So out of these three, the 0 is the maximum. That means you have to do nothing in order to probably lose nothing, right? So in that case, if you do nothing, you'll lose nothing, right? So this is a maximum min problem. Or if I take minimax, then in that case, what I've done is I need to find out first of all the maximum in all the three alternatives. That means in the first alternative, my maximum will be 2 lakh, then 1 lakh, and 0. Then out of which I have to find out the min of that, which would be 0 again. So in that case also we'll be getting do nothing. Do nothing is my decision which I have to make based on that case study which we have taken, right? So I'll be discussing the other three criterions, other three methods in this videos to come. Thank you so much.